Hello, everybody. Welcome to my review for the Super Mario Galaxy movie. This movie review will contain spoilers, but I will let you know when I get to those. Those will be more towards the end. I want to give you guys the option for spoiler reviews because this movie has been out for a while, and this is a movie I do feel somewhat passionate about in some ways. But I will get to that when I get there. I have been kind of dragging with movie reviews, so I am so sorry. I've just been dragging in general. I was on vacation by the time this movie came out, so it's been a slack. I've just been slacking a little bit, if I'm being honest, in a lot of ways. But anyway, I really enjoyed this movie. Is it a perfect movie? No, it is a fun blockbuster type of movie. It feels like a Mario story. I'm a big fan of the Super Mario Galaxy games. I bought those recently for the Switch too, and I've been enjoying them, loving those games. Just it's nostalgic because I played those games back when I was a kid, and it's fun. Now this movie does a lot of things, like introduces Yoshi to the cast of characters, and Yoshi's just so adorable. He's so cute. Donald Glover does a good job of voicing him. I would have never known if no one ever told me he was voicing him. I would have never known it was him. He did a great job, and he doesn't really have any lines except for like Yoshi. Like he does really good with like the cute Yoshi sound, so he did a great job with that. But the whole premise is they're trying to stop Bowser Jr. from getting Bowser back because if you watch the first one, they basically have him imprisoned. And Bowser Jr. Kidnaps Rosalina, and our main cast of characters have to go to a distant planet to stop him and get Rosalina back and make sure Bowser doesn't get free. So they do that, but they split up the cast. So it's good. It was great to see Mario and Luigi and Yoshi working together, and like Toad and Peach off on their own separate mission. All that was pretty good. I was more interested in the Mario, Yoshi, Luigi, and a storyline more than I was with Peach, but they did have a lot of cameos, but I will get into that in a bit. They do a really good job with like just making it fun. It was a very fun movie, and I struggle to come up with like things to say with like what it has without going into spoilers. But it has a lot of like cool like Super Mario Galaxy tropes, like the giant queen bee or the Lumas. They do a really good job with that. So they do all that really well, and that's all I really have to say with that. It, it so let's go a little bit more towards the negatives because as much as I do love this movie, the actors do a great job. The animation looks fantastic. I do have some negatives that I would like to get into. So, this is a Super Mario Galaxy movie, but in some ways, there are ways to which it didn't fully grow into that full potential of a Super Mario Galaxy movie. Mario and Luigi were on what I'm going to say is Earth a lot of the time in the early parts of the movie and then Peach and Toad already go off into the galaxy to other planets. So to me, I was like, guys, go to another world. So when they're like actually going to space, they fall on a planet near Earth, and like it's the Queen Bee planet or whatever. And I was like, okay, all right. And then like all of a sudden they would like crash into Dinosaur Planet and stuff. But in some ways, like it like takes a while to get to those points in the movie. As to where Princess Peach and Toad, they go to one planet, and that planet is full of so many Easter eggs. It's great. I love it. But in some ways, like it's just there to get information, and it's just kind of like scene for scene kind of thing. It's just kind of quick, and then eventually they gather back up, and then they go to stop Bowser Jr., which leads to more and more things. And I like it, but I feel like there could have been a lot more potential with the Super Mario storyline. There are so many things you could do with Super Mario Galaxy. And I feel like they haven't fully unlocked that or achieved that in the movie. And again, I even liked the movie, and like there were just some things I wish they did more with. At this point, I would definitely recommend you check it out. It's definitely worth a watch. So, with that being said, I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to just click off if you don't want to listen to spoilers. All right, you've been warned. Okay. If you're here for spoilers, welcome. So, they do a lot with the characters, and they like have them go to other planets, and I was like almost convinced that Bowser was fully a good guy now, and then that whole like he went from a good guy or a bad guy to a good guy, and I was like having hope. I was like, he's a good guy now. That's awesome. That's really cool. Then all of a sudden, just Bowser Jr. just kind of like talks to me. He's like, "Oh yeah, I kidnapped that woman Rosalina right there. I kidnapped her, and this is our planet that you shared to me as a kid." And now all of a sudden he's bad again. It was kind of like that to me was it really knocked him down a lot. I know Bowser is Mario's like arch enemy pretty much, but I was like expecting them to just kind of just almost stick to that almost. And there are just some times in the movie I was like, like Bowser Jr. was like trying to like take out. I almost say they just wanted to take out Mario and the gang, but Bowser, he's Bowser Jr.'s father. Why is he not doing anything to stop him from doing that? Like, he's like letting him be extreme, even though he's like freaked out about it or like panicked or worried. He's his father. Why is he not doing anything about it? That to me was a little off and made Bowser feel a little bit powerless compared to like Bowser Jr., which like he's a kid, but he can be pretty menacing, which they do a really good job with Bowser Jr. in my opinion. But I felt like they made Bowser a little bit of a pushover, and he was like talking about how great of a father he was. I'm like, were you really? Because you're kind of just letting your son do whatever he wants. Like, he's like, oh, I got expelled from boarding school, boarding school, more like boring school. That was funny. I loved that, but I felt like they made Bowser a little bit of a pushover and then they made him back into a villain, which leads to the next thing, which is the final fight in like the final like Mario, Peach, and Bowser encounter. I loved that they went like with the classic like final boss fight where Bowser falls into the lava, and they introduced Dry Bones Bowser. That was pretty cool. I loved that they did that, and I'm personally curious because they kept him that way. I'm curious if they're gonna keep Bowser that way permanently, or if they're gonna like do like a whole like maybe Giga Bowser thing in the third movie, and like have him come back, or have him eat like a red power up, or have him eat a power up or something, and then he's back to normal or whatever. But I thought that was a really cool storyline that they went down with the Dry Bones Bowser route. It was like it made him like stand out, and it was pretty cool. I really liked that they did that, and if they decide to keep it that way and stick to their guns with that, like it is cool. But I was like shocked that they went. If they stick it out, I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool, because like Bowser's just such an iconic character. If they just keep him as a skeleton the entire time, just wow, how about that? I don't know how long they plan on doing these movies for, which leads into our next topic. There will definitely be a third one, but we're going to get to that. So, this movie does a lot of Nintendo world building. They introduce characters like Rob, like the robot Rob, the Pikmin, they're in the movie. What else? Samus's ship is seen in the background. There was probably an F-Zero thing. There was, I can't even remember all of them, but there were so many. And I mean so many Easter eggs. And I can't even fully remember every single one of them. Which leads to our next thing. They introduce Fox McCloud. And he is one of my favorite characters in Smash. He's always been kind of my main. So when I even heard that they might be teasing that he might be in this movie, I was hyped. I was like, dude, that's so exciting. And they did a lot more with his role than I expected. And they had Glenn Powell, I believe, play him. He did a great job. I was digging it. He was a good Fox McCloud. I definitely can see that he's passionate about the character from what I've seen in interviews and such. And I'd love to see him play Fox again and again. And maybe lead to a Super Smash Bros. Storyline. That would be awesome to see. I would love that so much. But like I did in my other video, I think that may have been a tactic to help market Star Fox, the upcoming game that's coming. But I would love them to work in a Super Smash Bros. Movie where it just feels natural, almost like an Avengers level event, with like have Illumination and Nintendo lean towards the Super Smash Bros. World in such a natural way, and not just do it to like not make it dumb or anything. Don't make a Super Smash Bros. Movie with a third Mario movie. That would be insane. But Fox does it. They do a really good job with Fox. They do a good job like introducing him in a almost natural way. Like it's like a fun, quick, like whole new animated sequence kind of way. It's like very anime style and just very flashy and fun and just showing off Star Fox so that people like kids, grown-ups, Nintendo fans who may not be too familiar with Star Fox know what Star Fox is. And then when they see this new game coming out, they're like, "Whoa, hey, that was that guy from Super Mario Galaxy. Let's check this game out. That'd be so cool." I worry that's the entire reason he was in there. But I liked his inclusion. They did a really good job. He was used as their pilot, and he was from another universe, and he went through a portal that led to the Mario universe, the universe that takes place in this movie. So, and he's trapped there. So, he's like their pilot to sort of get them to that world that Bowser and Bowser Jr. own or whatever, where Rosalina's at. Let's sort of pivot to Rosalina a bit, because I kind of wrapped up what I said about Fox, but he was great. One of my favorite parts. They don't really have a lot of Rosalina in this movie, which is a big shock. And they did a whole new twist to where her and Peach were siblings. And Peach was lost by Rosalina. And Rosalina knew where she was, but she never stopped in to check on her or say anything or introduce herself because Peach was a baby when she was founded in the Mushroom Kingdom. She got lost out in space and ended up there. And Rosalina knew the story of Mario and Peach in the gang, but never stopped in. That to me is like kind of like a what the heck kind of thing. Brie Larson does a good job though. I really liked that they introduced Rosalina, and they started off the movie with her in such a fun, like almost like that's how you open up the Super Mario storyline, was Rosalina reading to her Lumas. They did a good job with that. They definitely were trying to be respectful towards the Super Mario Galaxy storyline in that sense of opening up with that. But they introduced Bowser Jr. and then in some ways, like Rosalina was a really powerful character, but she kind of got kidnapped a little too quickly. And I guess she was kind of like the princess that they kind of had to save, and they had to use her like star Luma energy to power up the laser to destroy other worlds or whatever. And that's really it for her. She was barely in the movie, but Brie Larson does a good job voicing her. Another funny thing, I've seen people meme about this, but like it's crazy how Fox McCloud has more screen time than Rosalina, which is a Super Mario Galaxy like icon character. Like she's a part of that storyline, and she is known for that storyline. I think that was her debut. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it was. But overall, I really like this movie. There are post-credit scenes. I don't remember if there were two, but it heavily teases a third movie by debuting You guessed it, Daisy. The, I want to say the Flower Princess, and you know who Daisy is. She's like more of Luigi's, like kind of like, you know what I'm saying, like the sort of romance type for Luigi. So there's definitely a good show that there's going to be a third movie. What they'll adapt with the third movie, I don't know. I've heard them talk about Super Mario Odyssey. I've never played it, so I don't know what to expect. I don't know if they're going to continue with Bowser Jr. and Bowser. Oh, there was another post-credit scene where they're just in prison and they want to escape. But we'll see if that happens. I don't know if that will happen. But again, we will see. I think they may do a Wario and Waluigi storyline for the third one, if they continue to do Mario movies past just a trilogy. Because I know Bowser's like the iconic villain, and that's the one they're just gonna keep going back to. He's kind of like I don't know. He's kind of like the Joker to Batman, or Green Goblin to Spider-Man, or Kingpin to Daredevil. That's just kind of like the relationship that Mario and Bowser have. But I really like this movie. I definitely want them to build towards a Super Smash Bros. Universe. I want that so bad. I think Illumination and Nintendo could really pull that off. And I think this movie was a good building block towards that. So, we'll see what happens. I really liked the movie. Comment down below what your thoughts are on the movie, things you may like about the movie or disagree with it about. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it. That's okay. I'm just here to share you guys my opinions about this movie. If you guys liked my review for the Super Mario Galaxy Brothers movie, please be sure to give this video a like. And if you like this video enough, feel free to subscribe and hit the bell icon, because I upload videos, so if you want to get notified every time I upload, check me out. I appreciate you guys for watching, and have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.